What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 11 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Khatep Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, the highlight of the episode was a massive siege as King Roprafos and Romarinef took the Altar of Ultimate Darkness from Malekith, and a glorious sort of horde of skeletons clambering over those walls. And it was fantastic, and I'm excited to see similar sieges in the future. Just gotta pick and choose those battles where we know there won't be a defensive garrison and thus it won't be a desync. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this time around, we will hopefully look to knock out Malekith's faction Nagorond completely before proceeding this way. There is the possibility of maybe vassalizing Hargoneth. I'm not entirely sure about it, simply because there's a bit of anger between them and the other elves, specifically the high elves. Minus 100 aversion, minus 100 for treaties with Exiles of Nehek, but I guess that will probably go away if we should vassalize them. I guess it remains to be seen. It's not like we're at war with them. I don't even know why they hate us that much. Minus 100 just for treaties with us? We're killing all of your enemies. I guess we did kill off Nagorond, to be fair. But anyway, we'll see about all that later on. We gotta actually get there first. We've also taken out Tyrion's faction, Eataine, for good, and we'll be moving out of the Galleon's graveyard towards the rest of the donut. We gotta get it secure so that our vassals keep on paying us. Now, we are also at war with Illyrian, but I'm hoping that since we sicked Alariel upon them, Alariel will be able to take care of them for us without us having to deal with it too much. And in terms of moves we have remaining, Rahobi, you are going to move into Entomb Beneath the Sands and proceed over here in order to take the monoliths next turn, but you can use global recruitment to build, let's say, a skeleton spear to replace the spear that you lost. Assuming it was a spear that you lost, but I don't remember. And in terms of any other moves, Romarinef and King Roprafos, I guess you're going to move to Harkaldra, which will need to be attacked, so let's move everybody else first. I don't think we have any buildings to build, and since we've already done that last turn, Meshep, you can move out here. I'd like you to actually see if there's any armies or anything to be considering, but it doesn't look like it. And Naktomhat, stay here, just sort of staring menacingly. You shall not pass at these guys, because they will attack us eventually. We did pay them, like, what, 12,000 gold or whatever last time to declare war upon Slaanesh, so hopefully while Nakari is alive, these guys will continue fighting him. Anyway, you two. Who wants to hit the place first? It is a minor settlement, so it will have a garrison, meaning it will have towers. Maybe we'll use the Krokogar Legion and the Ushabti with Great Bow to knock those down. And you both have about equal mana, which is basically none, so yeah, I guess you go first, sir. Can't go into Great Dynasty stance, so go into regular stance, and we'll move King Roprafos in to reinforce. What do we have here? Yeah, it's a solid amount of stuff. Once again, those Druki garrisons and being absolutely nutty lets us get some decent fights against them. Alright, and I guess you can stay in Tomb Beneath the Sands because it'll prevent you from taking attrition from this place. Alright, how does that look now? Pyrrhic victory, high casualties, and it will still destroy every single melee unit we have, basically. Damn. Alright, well, good for you, AI, but I don't think that's actually going to happen, though we do have to watch out for those Shadows of Anlak. It's a fairly strong breath attack and could decimate the Green Skulls. Anyway, before we get started with the battle, two quick things. First of all, if you haven't voted already for the next two campaigns, the vote is up in the community tab, and do get your votes in there. We're at about 800 votes on the poll right now. I think the last poll had over 2,000, and assuming similar numbers this time, 1,200 more votes could very much swing the faction choice anyway. As in, since the highest votes have just a little over 100, it could easily go to another faction than what's currently at the top, so do keep that in mind. Also, this episode, we once again, unlike the 8th episode or whatever, very much blew the engagement goal out of the water, so we're definitely doing the longer hour-long episode this time around. Good job once again, folks, and let's get started with our first fight. Go. Alrighty, here we go, another siege, and this time against a minor settlement. We'll have Executioners, Blackguard, and Cold One Dread Knights to contend with, all of which are just hilariously stronger than our poor green skulls, skeletal warriors. However, or skeleton warriors. However, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and this army is pretty darn decent, especially with the Ushabti and the piles of Krokagar Legion firing from the back. Now, speaking of the Krokagar Legion, unfortunately, they did get hit with that Shadows of Anlek and took a solid 30% HP damage. They're also all attempting to focus down this tower together with the Ushabti, and are doing it pretty quick. There we go, down goes the tower. I'm almost wondering whether the fire arrows have an additional anti-damage building or anti-building damage buff to them, because they went down, it felt like it went down a lot faster than they usually do. Anyway, our Scorpions are up front with our Lord, who is applying his Banner of Burning Flame to them, or Eternal Flame, and the skulls, the green skulls, are up there together. In the meantime, we're also getting a Tomb Swarm down on the enemy as they move along, and firing on whatever enemy we can with the Krokagar Legion and the Ushabti. Bit of a brawl here, and once again the Executioners and the Blackguard are going to be toughies to bring down, and will probably mince at least a few of our skeletons. But we'll get in turn minced by the arrows and by the Scorpions. Alright, very nice. Once again, you gotta love the Scorpion models. Back here, it looks like our Ushabti have nearly destroyed a unit of Dark Shards here. Gotta love that Ushabti capability, and they are going to fire on the Bleak Swords now instead, which are moving on in, and some Cold One Dread Knights about to join the fray as well. Gotta be careful of their charge, as they will probably wreck a lot of our green skulls as they do, and we will in fact retarget all of our Krokagar Legion towards the Dread Knights instead. Some more very nice shots from the Ushabti, leaving massive holes in the enemy formation. And the Scorpions continue to anchor the line really nicely. One other nice aspect of the Scorpions as compared to something like a Hyro Titan is that the Hyro Titan, being so big, is a arrow magnet, not just to the enemy, but it's also difficult to fire over your own Hyro Titan, at least with regards to regular arrows and Ushabti. Scorpions don't have that issue, of course, as they're relatively low to the ground, and I'm not sure the tails actually exist in terms of arrows possibly hitting them. At least not from what I can see. Anyway, it looks like the enemy main line has broken by and large. The Dread Knights, the Executioners, the Blackguard running. We have taken a little bit of damage here, but our reinforcements are on the field and will be coming in soon. That said, by the looks of it, this army might actually be able to clear this enemy settlement out, more elite units or not, and without the need of help from the second army. Just gotta be careful with our heroes. Ooh, nice sort of simultaneous leap from the Lich Priest and the Necrotech there. Dread Knight still taking arrow after arrow and sting and pinch from the Scorpions as well. And they just keep moving forward, all the while those that attempt to escape or any newly arriving units with decent HP and get hit by our Ushabti. Once again, I love those shots from the Ushabti. They've got that very nice, solid impact sound. They even feel more impactful in terms of their sound design than the piercing or multi-shot bolts from the Eagle Claw bolt throwers. Though I have grown a healthy respect and love for the bolt throwers in SFO, as they've gotten us pretty damn far in terms of the Imra campaign, and have become a lot more effective than I was expecting them to be with the buffs that they've received. And we're not even done buffing them there. Anyway, that's for the Imra campaign. In the meantime, this enemy settlement is just about ours. A few more enemy units have rallied and are attempting to rejoin the fray, but as well they should fight on top of this sort of grill thing where their corpses can simply be pushed down into the pile of corpses below. It's almost like they're trying to help us here. Alright, more green skulls making their way forward, and we do manage to activate a Realm of Souls, which is lovely. certainly a rarity in some fights. And damn, look at all those arrows coming in from the Krokagar Legion. It looks like the Dread Knights will be the last unit attempting to fight, and with that, the battle will be ours, and the Fire Army, such as it is, and we'll take another win. Hopefully later on we'll be able to get them some Salamanders, and just look to allying with lizards other than Mazda Mundi. And, oh, okay, they have a couple of units that are still on the battlefield, but as soon as they make contact, they will shatter, and then the battle will be ours. Alright, very nice. Most of the damage went to Ramaranef, which is, well, partly my fault because I sent him into battle despite being a Lich High Priest, but he does have that Banner of Eternal Flame on him, so he was causing the Tomb Scorpions to dish out fire damage, similar to everybody else, which I do find nice. In terms of the greatest number of kills, that had to go to the Ushabti and the Hawkeyes of Anubis, named Ushabti with Great Bow. 25k and 21k damage, but that's hardly surprising. Ushabti with Great Bow have always been an insanely strong unit, and that's hardly changed in SFO. We're gonna occupy the place, and... When is this mission aborted? Oh, we were supposed to raid the place? Yeah, we weren't going to waste a turn raiding it, game. I've never been super fond of quests that have you raid, because you're usually best off not wasting the turn raiding and just moving on to the next territory. Speaking of moving on, we'll be moving on to Nagaron next, but it looks like it'll take 2 turns to get there, though by the looks of it we'll be more or less healed up by then. Unlike other Let's Plays, we do have to keep on leveling everybody in this one, because we need to keep taking advantage of the canopic jars. So, everybody max out those jars. So even at the cost of increased mobility, because more jars is more better stuff. You, Ramaranef. And now that you have the Restless Dead, I think we'll get 1 point... well... Look, I'd love to get Skullstorm, but we just don't have the mana to use it right now, so we're probably better off getting Sun-Scorched Bones to make sure that the green skulls don't get wrecked. You, I believe, are missing canopic jars, go figure, and you... are maxed out on canopic jars. Good for you, sir. I guess we can start moving towards either Air Command Dominance or grab Hard to Hit first so that you're not as liable to get wrecked. Do have to be a little bit careful of the Tomb Princes. Don't really care about any of the we're getting attacked, we're getting ambushed, we're getting besieged traits. I find these to be horrifically useless traits on pretty much any kind of character or lord or whatever that offers them, but Air Command, Dominance, and Perseverance is always applicable. And plus 6 melee attack and plus 6 melee defense is pretty damn decent. Frankly, if we had enough room in this army, I'd probably put another Tomb Prince for them, but at least melee defense on the green skulls will be quite nice. Just to prevent them from dying. Anyway, though I guess them dying is what gives us Realm of Souls. Let's go with Hard to Hit first. Maybe all the way through to Tomb Strike, just so that we have a source of terror, and oh, wait. We do have to get to, not Heir of the Chariot King, Disciple of Fokth. Magic item drop chance +5 all characters faction wide. It's another reason we want to level the Tomb Princes in general. Anyway, let's see if that is good. Looks good to me. At least in terms of movement. Buildings, I believe, once again, we did last time, though we can uncollect the income here. At the Iron Foothills, I don't know whether we'll bother keeping Harkaldra. There's a decent likelihood that neither it nor Nagarond is something we need. Frankly, if we take Nagarond and a bunch of stuff here, we might want to try to trade it to Harganeth. We could probably make them pretty powerful. The thing is, normally, at least in the various campaigns that I've played recently, all the Dark Elves, including Nagarond and Harganeth, have been allied with Chaos, but this time around, Harganeth is fighting them, though they are on the back foot most definitely. And it feels like we might want to reward them for it, especially with Lethanar continuously being a jerk. At least he's consistent, because he's being a jerk in the Tyrion, or not Tyrion, Himric campaign. We just got Tyrion, but it's not his campaign, damn it. Anyway, Elysia. You know what, I was thinking about trading it either to these guys, but I think we're probably better off trading it to Avalorn. The thing is, there's no real other way to get Torfinu from them, and A, it'll probably rebel, and B, We want the White Tower of Hoeth because it has a landmark that's actually quite useful to us. So I think we'll forego the Citadel of Dusk and give Elysia to these guys for Torfanu. They're willing to give us some money as well. Yeah, sure, why not?
I will use my gifts.
Hope we don't bankrupt them too hard between the tribute and the taken stuff. But anyway, demolish this building, upgrade this building, and get more growth and stuff in here. Lovely. And you know what? While we're trading buildings, so let's take a look at what we have here. I don't really care about Angariel. I wonder. Okay, so last episode we did declare war on Illyrian, yes? Yeah, that was last episode. Now, we know that Illyrian's main stack isn't here. I'm about 90% sure it's here, because I remember these guys taking Shrine of Loek back from either Grom or from the Shadow Legion or from somebody. If their main stack is here, they're liable to attack Cairn Fel. If they're liable to attack Cairn Fel, we should trade it away before they do. And we can get a military alliance out of it. A little bit of cash. Yeah, do we need these guys to join war against anybody? Nagaroth, Nagarond, and Illyrian. We could have them fight Illyrian for us. Huh. Would that be a good idea? How much would they... Oh. They're not doing that. Okay, what about break trade agreement with Illyrian? 95? No. Okay, break non-aggression pact with Illyrian. Okay then, Eltharion. He doesn't want to attack the other elves. Alright. You're... And that's why we favor Alariel. Propose offer, do this for now. At least they'll give us a vision with this. And if they're unwilling to be unfriendly... Huh. Maybe their stack isn't here. I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, we were going to trade these territories to these guys anyway. Really, the only territories we need to keep for now are Lothern, which we're going to use to get these guys to become our vassal, and Vol's Anvil, which we're going to trade to these guys for Port Elistor once the capital gets moved from Elistor to Tori Vres. I assume the same thing will happen, and it will get auto-moved just like the Witchwood happened. If that doesn't happen, well, then I guess we won't get the full territory here, which would be a shame. But if these guys are vassalized, we'd still get to use our commandment, so it won't matter as much. Anyway, well, this guy's here. Alright, you know what? We will see. If this guy's coming here, we'll trade Angariel, and if not, we'll keep it for now. Just to make it worth more, eventually. I had even started to build the military building, though perhaps I should have built the growth for, you know, powering up Lothern further. Anyway, I'm not entirely sure whether that's all we gotta do, but it's all we're gonna do for now, so... let's skip. Outpost upgrade. Yeah, do it. Hero not moved. That's fine, and end the turn. Let's find out. Alright, and also, will the lizards finally turn upon us? We need to keep an eye on that. No, it doesn't look like it, at least not yet. Looks like they're still just mustering. Broken Axe, we're at war with Sylvania, yada yada yada. We still have to attack Kuran as well. Kind of unfortunate, because they might be a decent ally or vassal. However, they do have a book, and we can't be letting them hold on to that. Alright, Confederation between Reichland and Hawkland. Recruit the following type of unit. Missile infantry. Yeah, okay, he is here. Now... Lothern is walled, so I don't think he can take it. Well, it does depend on... Well, we'll see. Okay. Skeletal Steed for Serendes, Grand Hierophant Khatep. Go to the shipwreck here as the first thing that you do. And explore the island and auto-resolve this garbage. And go for... I'm gonna say jars. I mean, the movement is nice as well, but jars. We need more jars. We need 1,400 jars for our next army recruitment, so... You gotta be kidding me, they gave us materials at sea. I mean, that's great, but we don't really need it. I would kill for materials at sea in the Imrek campaign. Anyway, you're gonna go here. And depending on whether these guys attempt to go for Lothern, we'll go for Lothern. Then, I guess since this guy's gonna go for Angariel, we will trade Angariel. And then land at Lothern. If they attempt to take Lothern, well, I guess we'll see. Khatep should be able to retake it immediately. Hopefully they don't go for the White Towers, that would be irritating. Anyway, Angariel to these guys. I guess we could just cancel this, get some of our money back. Alright. How much is Angariel worth to you? 9. It's basically worthless. Well, that's a shame. You're not betraying these guys for this amount, are you? No, you are certainly not. Alright, we'll just take it. It's a little bit more money. It's another gift to these guys. Go for it. No point in really losing it. I mean, I suppose we could have let this guy take it and then taken it back and then traded it later, but I don't feel like dealing with the admin of, you know, growing it again. We should build the mausoleum and whatever else we need to at Lothern. However, well, I guess we could build the mortuary house for growth, and whatever this is, growth mortuary house as well. This should be upgraded next turn when Khatep gets there, because he can reduce the amount of time that it takes. Now, out of curiosity, Lothern is now worth 48 to you, not quite to vassalization, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Once it's tier 3 and has double military buildings, perhaps, and if not, then a tier 4 when it has triple military buildings. Torfanu, growth. Good. And the rest of this is fine. These guys... oh, look at that, Nakari. Wait, go here. Outside of Misnar. And, there's basically no defenders there. Nonetheless, go and Tomb Beneath the Sands. I'm wondering whether we can get, we could try to trick Nakari into coming here and then kill him. It would be nice to get his defeat trait on you as well. Birdies go faster. Sun-Scorched Bones is maxed out for you, sir. Ancient Tyrant, sacking settlements not super useful, missile resistance not super useful, and probably will never be on this particular lord, simply because he's got a lock on his mount. As in, he can never have a Khemrian War Sphinx. Which is a shame, but oh well. I guess we're just going to keep holding on to the points for his unique rank 15. Tomb Prince, you are going to max out your Canopic Jar Hoarder. And we're good. Alrighty, at least for now. Head to core, keep scouting for us, just hang out around here. Looks like Lewin is going for Bordelot. I was thinking of grabbing it for ourselves, but frankly, we don't really need money, so we're okay. Rakosh, sit around. Rahobi and co. Now, Rahobi, I was going to send you to the monoliths, which, by the looks of it... Wait, is this auto-resolvable? Ooh, wait. One more turn on the Casket of Souls. Alright, well, we'll do it when we get to it. What point do you want? You have the Skull Storm, you have Jar Hoarder. We can keep going through your Sun-Scorched Bones. I'm almost tempted to get another point in the Skull Storm. It's really good in minor settlements. Is this a minor settlement? Oh, no, it's a field battle. Not that I expect them to do much better in a field battle, mind you. Go for Sun-Scorched Bones, then. We still gotta get Arcane Conduit and 5th Gen Priest for that research raid. We should probably start moving through to it, in fact, now that we have Sun-Scorched Bones. Either way, you're gonna head here. It does once again mean ignoring Venom Glade, but it is what it is. And Pyrrhic Victory with a unit dying. Alright, we will fight this. I mean, it's solid. It's more than a single stack, right? That's definitely worth fighting. Alright, you have fun with that, Rahobi. Ravenna, whatever, is here. Meshup, I want you right here. I want you to keep an eye on what's going on here. In fact, go this way. I would like to see what's going on with Harganeth. And alright, Grand, what do we get here? Research rate income from all buildings faction-wide and power reserve. Just like the White Tower of Hoeth, this is also a pretty decent landmark, though getting it to tier 5 is going to be something of an issue. Either way, Roprafos, go here to the edge of our territory, and I guess for Marinef you're going to do the same thing. And Tomb Beneath the Sands doesn't take you quite as far as we'd like. Wait. What if we do... it's about the same distance anyway. Alright, whatever. And then Tomb Beneath the Sands as well. Alright, and you should be able to reach Nagaron from there. Hopefully they don't have enough of an army to try to retake the Temple of Cain. Mostly because I don't want to deal with it. Speaking of Temple of Cain, let's get that Mastaba up and running. And you can keep going. Okay, now it's time to do the building. Ashen Coast Tyrant Peak, we'll start with you. We're going to switch you briefly to Worship of Foktha and go to Tomb City next turn. And I think get rid of the Mortiferous Sanctuary here, and the Mortiferous Sanctuary at Iron Spike. It's time to start building Fated Pyramidions, or the Pyramid Tree. Next, we have the Altar of Ultimate Darkness, which is currently building the Fated Pyramidion. And thus we won't be able to build up anything else for another couple of turns. I guess the question is, do we want to build anything else here? I mean, we could do temporary public order while the public order fixes itself. And maybe we'll do that. Alright, that looks good. Iron Sand Desert, you're up next. You are going to switch briefly to Worship as well, as next turn you will be building up a tier 4. And do we want to grab a Pyramidion here as well? I think we do. Get rid of the Sanctuary, but keep the growth, at least for now. Red Desert, you are going to upgrade the next level of the Pyramidion. And you are also waiting to build up the burial pits and get all those lovely capacities. Ooh, can't wait. More Screaming Skull catapults, more Shabti, Scorpions, Tomb Guard. I almost got really happy about hex rates, but no dice. Oh well. And you don't have enough space to build another Pyramidion here, but that will change. Alright, the rest of this I'm happy with, at least for now. What do we have at Hag Grief? Nothing to be building. Or at least nothing that is of consequence. The Great Ocean, never. And Petrified Forest. We are waiting on you. For now, upgrade the Mortiferous Sanctuary and the Grand Ossuary. It'll be another bunch of turns until we can upgrade you to tier 4. And here, I guess we can... I was about to say we could temporarily build the Ushabti, but I was going to build a Pyramidion here as well. I mean, we are going to wake the Ushabti Lords soon to build our Ushabti army. That would have value, but we would eventually end up deleting it. But eventually isn't now, so let's build it. Alright, the rest of this I think is good. Kalidor is fine, we're just waiting to trade it. Mistnar is just ours for now. Oh, Lothern, yes. Oh, wait, no. And I just said I was going to wait until Khatep gets there. Storag Core, you can upgrade the Sanctuary. And I don't think you... Oh, you don't have a commandment because we didn't own Venom Glade because we had to move up here to deal with this jerk face. And the rest of this is good. Alright, Diplo check, and then on to the next fight. Onward and downward into the sands. Northern province is nearly ready for that trade agreement. It's still looking okay for the vassalage. Not as good as it was before, though. And just to double check, you... Minus 189, yeah, that's not gonna happen. What about you? Minus 191. Hag Grief, a little bit more likely, I'd say. But if Hag Grief makes us kill them, we'll kill them. I mean... We don't have to give the stuff to them, we can give it to the Wood Elves. I don't know how the Wood Elves... whether the Wood Elves can deal with the Chaotic Wasteland or not, but we'll just let them try.
Glade Lord, at your service.
Yeah. Alright, where were we? We were going to attack this in a nice little field battle, so that's what we shall do. Pyrrhic victory. We got lots of enemy archers to contend with, some white lines. The Shadow Warriors and Walkers are going to be the major issue here, as even charging into melee will probably get our horses and skeleton archers wrecked. Chosen of the Gods is going to be up to you again, but we just have to make sure that we actually detect them. Go. All right. Oh wow, it's difficult to see anything. There's a phrase where snow blindness. Anyway, difficult to see anything with all the snow everywhere, but it's still nice, and at least the blood will be nice and visible against all of this. Anyway, here we go. We've been fighting a lot of dark elves and some high elves, but may as well fight a few more high elves as we go, especially considering that in the Imric campaign, which is running simultaneously, we're unlikely to be fighting high elves there. Anyway, as usual with this particular army, at least until we retrofit it to be a Nehekara Warrior Heavy, we're going to start the battle off by moving the Ushabti with Great Bow, the Chosen of the Gods, forward, and firing away on whatever units we can reach. We will start off with the White Lions, who, by the looks of it, are reasonably resistant with 43 missile resistance due to that Lion Cloak. Damn. Even the Ushabti with Great Bow barely do any damage to them. That's nice. Good job to the White Lions. And they also blend fairly nicely with the sort of snowy terrain as well. Well, I'll get a few more shots on them, but it looks like it's going to be relatively ineffective, and we should probably be better off switching our targets off of the 43% missile-resistant guys and into somebody who will take a lot more damage. Start with the High Elven Archers. They should be relatively fragile. Naval from the Chosen of the Gods will be much more devastating. There we go, and one volley takes about 30% of their HP. That is much, much better than the like 5 to 10% that we got before. Alright, one more volley, but it looks like the enemy has gotten sufficiently annoyed and will be at least milling around. We're going to back the Chosen of the Gods off until we can reposition them. Plus, with the enemy milling around, we can take advantage of it and drop a nice Skull Storm on them. And hopefully hit a few enemies. Ideally, the white lines if they walk into it, but we'll see. It also depends, I suppose, on where the Skull Storm goes. Unfortunately, the spells available to us are not as damaging, well, for example, compared to all of the spells available to the High Elves, compared to the Lore of Life and the Lore of Fire, well, really the only army damaging, I should say, spell we have access to is Skull Storm, well, in the Lore of Nehek, and then we have the Purple Son of Zeraeus in the Death Lore, which is, not a spell I particularly ever liked, even with the buffs that it got with the, well, with SFO, but I don't even like it in SFO. It's alright on Elspeth, but primarily because she can spam it. And we got Banishment in the Lore of Light as well, but obviously, once again, compared to other lures, we don't have a lot of ways to clear enemy blobs out. And that's okay though, we have other means, like those who show up to you with Great Bow, which have repositioned themselves and are once again going to go after those High Elven Archers, and just to try to dish out as much damage as they can while they back up. There we go, another nice shot with those split-shot arrows. And back away before we do damage, maybe even pop a regrowth as needed. Bleed? You're telling me the Ushabti are bleeding? Okay. I feel like maybe constructs should be immune to contact effects. I certainly shouldn't be bleeded or poisoned, at least not regular poison. Maybe some sort of magical poison. Maybe like Nurglish poison should remove immunity to contact effects. And non-Nurglish poison, constructs should be immune to. Because I really sincerely doubt that an arrow from some guy is gonna make a Ushabti bleed because it's a, animate statue. But anyway, we're backing off now. Once again, another Skull Storm to cover our retreat, and we've done pretty decent damage to the enemy army so far. I also want to point out that our sneaky little Sepulchral Stalkers have been moving behind the enemy army to devious purpose. We are going to attempt to crush all this line of enemy range units in between our forces. Out here, it looks like a unit of Illyrian Reavers has attempted to flank us, but one of the Tomb Princes has caught them and will hopefully allow the Nehekara horsemen to close and rip them apart. And these aren't silver helms, so while the Nehekara horsemen are fragile, they should be able to destroy the Illyrian Reavers and just fine. Our Sepulchral Stalkers have arrived and getting those shotgun blasts on whatever enemy range units and melee units in the form of the enemy rangers that they can. And these things do quite a bit of damage with their special range weapon. And those range units are going to have a pretty bad time. At the same time, we've been waiting with our Tomb Guard and with our other unit of Ushabti for these Sepulchral Stalkers to close. But now we can start moving out and crush them. And there we go, getting engaged with all of those enemy range units. Tons and tons of archers they've brought, but the Sepulchral Stalkers can counter this very, very nicely. Especially as most of them are the regular sort of archer units, and not things like the Shadow Warriors, which could still potentially fight us. And they do still have those white lions running around. We don't want the Sepulchral Stalkers in a fight with the Ushabti, so we're just going to do a little bit of area denial with that Skull Storm and separate the units. Tomb Guard and Ushabti are now making their way in, and most of the enemy army is pretty much screwed at this point. that maneuver worked out pretty well. On the flanks, the Illyrian Reavers have been destroyed, and our chariots and Hekar horsemen are running around or riding around and getting into position, though by the looks of it, they won't really be needed. We are taking a little bit of damage on somewhat the rightmost flank here with the skeleton spears and the Tomb Prince attempting to hold back those darn white lions and another spear unit. And unsurprisingly, the white lions are ripping skeletal warriors or skeleton spears apart. But who could expect anything else? Hey, don't bite me. I tried to move my cat slightly. Oh, anyway, there we go. Very nice charge from our chariots, as well as the Tomb Guard bringing up the rear of the enemy main line, getting absolutely destroyed, or I suppose main line, if we can call it that, or back line, but it's most of their army, so, you know. And just gonna be these white lions and remnants of the melee units left, though to be fair, we've by and large been ignoring them in favor of destroying the enemy's archer spam. But the archer spam won't work against this type of army. There we go, spear line pressed against the line of halberd-wielding Tomb Guard. We'll have the Sepulchral Stalkers rush them and crush them, which we've been doing a lot lately. Alright, spears are out and only the white lions remain. They're in rampage now as the Curse of Joff comes down from our Tomb Prince, which has taken quite a bit of damage, attempting to help the skeletal warriors hold them off. The chariots now moving to the back, but unfortunately don't have enough mass by the looks of it to charge through the white lions, but at the same time it matters not, as the enemy army will shatter. It looks like it's this flank that took the most of the damage. Some of our Sepulchral Stalkers were hurt as well, but I don't believe they lost too many models, so we should heal mostly up and be mostly fine at the end of this battle. Well done, everybody. Alright, very, very nice. The Sepulchral Stalkers did wonderfully, hovering around 8 to 10k damage, getting behind the enemy army, letting loose a few of those shotgun blasts of theirs before smashing into the lines of range units. The 40k damage on the Chosen of the Gods is hardly surprising, as that unit is obnoxious, and decent damage out of our fast movers as well. Plus, even the Tomb Guard got to wade into the melee, as well as the Sepulchral Stalkers prevented all those range units from running. 37k on Rehobi, who via 2, I think, Skull Storms, and did said damage. Not too bad. We'll take the monoliths for ourselves, at least for now, though as to whether we keep them, that remains to be seen. And will provide us nice vision around, and if we wanted, we could get more Nehekara horses in here. If only they didn't take 2 turns. If we were able to recruit them for 1 turn here, if it was a green territory, I would have replaced a few of these guys, because we do want more Nehekara horses in this army, but we do have 4 more coming from these guys. They still need to trade. I mean, Romarinov can stay where he is, because the only thing that he needs is Hyro Titans in place of the Tomb Scorpions at some point later, because they do fire damage, but the rest of this is fine, unless we want to swap out the Ushabti to Bone Giants. Basically, anything that stands near Romarinov will do fire damage. For now, it's the Tomb Scorpions, but later on, we could certainly have a couple of fire damage dealing Bone Giants. Not because they'll be better than the Ushabti, in fact, they'll most likely be worse, but they will look cool. And is that really not, isn't that really what we're after? Anyway, Khatep, I just realized you reached level 30. Does 30 offer us anything significant? Oh. It gave us the final tier of Rulers of Nehekara, which gives us additional Tomb Scorpion capacity, Necropolis Knights capacity, and Tomb Guard. But nothing else, as in none of the crazy stuff, no Bone Giants or anything like that, but we'll take it. We'll take it, especially the all Ushabti and all Necropolis Knights, and we will get you Arcane Conduit, sir, or Greater Arcane Conduit, I should say. Yeah, if nothing else, within the next few episodes, when we raise Khatep of the Lamazash of the 4th Dynasty, we'll be able to build him an army pretty much entirely composed of Ushabti, as we will have the capacity by then, so that's swell. Alright, so we're about halfway there, a little more, to the number of canopic jars that we need, which is great. Rakash, you are stuck where you are. Oh, we did everything else this turn. Right. I got my memory is not so good, guys. Don't judge me. Let's see. Tempted by the Northern Provinces trade agreement, just to get our relationship with them growing. They don't like our strategic threat, but a declaration of war against Eshin, for example, will allow us to do this. And it's not like we'll ever be friendly with Eshin, let's face it. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. We'd still probably need to trade them something in order to get the vassalage going. It's just unlikely at this time. I mean, we will probably try to send a few armies to Khatep simply because we are very near to the passage there via the sea lane, especially once we take out the lizards here. If we can ally with the Jade Court, who I hope are still alive, kind of hard to tell. And then they can hold our southern borders while we deal with Khatep with some armies and send the rest of the armies to Nehek, hopefully with all the Books of Nagash in tow. Anyway, I do believe that's it for this turn, unless I'm mistaken. We're waiting on the other stuff. Do we want to build anything at the monoliths, which we just took? Not really. I mean, I guess we could build the growth building just in case we keep the place. It seems unlikely, but whatever. And you're unlikely to peace out now. You're at war with everybody, but, well, that's hardly surprising. And you're unlikely to become a vassal. Yeah, we're gonna have to kill you, aren't we? Hopefully Darkweaver Azerid can take the Twisted Glade. It does have very little in the way of defenses. It just depends where exactly Alethanar is. Oh, actually, speaking of Alethanar, just in case he attacks Rehobi next turn, we're gonna need to level him up. Now, he has Sun-Scorched Bones now maxed out, which is the main thing. The other thing he'll want is Elite Cavalrymen, as he will be using the Hekara Horsemen. However, I think it's now time... Okay, maybe one more point in Skullstorm, because we use it constantly. But then we'll start moving through this line. Elite Cavalryman isn't good enough for us to worry about right now, and we don't actually have the Hekara warriors in here, / the Golden Host of Mahrok, so until we do, there isn't really much point in going through that line. There is, however, point in getting more points for all of our our Necrotechs, who are going to give us more capacities. Very, very nice. I feel like the Scorpion Sting is the best one out of the first line. Well, I mean, the Spokal Stalkers and Necropolis Knights one is good as well. I also don't know. Does this mean +2 Shepti with Great Bone + 1 regular Shepti, or is this just an error? It's just that the Tomb Scorpion, and I guess the Ushabti, but the Tomb Scorpion structure can only be built in main territories. It can't be built in minor settlements. And the issue with that is it's a tier 3 only structure, whereas the Royal Menagerie, which gives us Necropolis Knights and Spokal Stalkers, goes up to tier 4. And also can't, well, the tier 4 at least can't be built in minor settlements either, unlike the Ushabti building, which can be built everywhere. And generally we have rather limited space in our main settlements because we need... I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's very high tier for the Tomb Kings in particular. But anyway, unassigned skill points. Wait, did I do all these guys or did I get distracted? Yeah, I got distracted. Go figure. Ruinous getting distracted. Name a more iconic duo. Hard to hit. Hard to hit or Phalanx. You know what? If we get attack next turn, we'll get Phalanx, and if we don't, we'll go for hard to hit. I guess Esteemed Combatant through to Written... Well, I don't really care about Written and Trainer, but, yeah. Maybe. Let's get your Phalanxes as well, sir. And let's get you... I guess we do want Naras. Do we have enough mana to actually cast it here? We do. Alright, it's spammable. Although, out of you two, it would probably be this guy casting. You're probably better off occasionally spamming Joff's Incantation of Cursed Blades, so at the same time, we're not healing as much as we'd... Or are we? Actually, this is almost 50%, so we're healing quite a bit. Yeah, you know what? Let's get Joff's first. And then possibly healing, and then possibly Jars? Or Jars first, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Unassigned skill points, that's it for this army, and that's the one that matters. Hero not moved. That's just a scout. Next turn we got 5,000 gold to spend on the casket, and we'll have to figure out where to send the casket, and we got that Necrotect hero. Gotta figure out where to send you as well. What level Story of Rest at? If we take it, we could take it at tier 2. Or we could raise it, and then immediately occupy it at tier 3, and then trade it to these guys. In theory, Maybe that would allow us to keep Lothern. Really, the only reason I'd like to keep Lothern is to get those tomb bark capacities, because right now we don't have a lot of ports. And I'd build this tomb bark, but we have nobody who can actually build it, because we don't have enough armies raised. I mean, we're turn 54, and we only have 4 or 5 armies? Okay, but that's actually not so bad. End turn. At least proper armies, I mean. Alright, looks like Nakari didn't buy our bait, or didn't go for the bait this time around. Unfortunate. Mazda. Hey. Looks like that idea with getting you to go after this Slaneshi worked. Now, where is Mr. Gilgallion gonna go? That's the question. If he moves towards White Tower of Hoeth, we'll have to... The heck is that? Okay. He did nothing. Clanishan destroyed. Oh, wow. I am glad we went for the trade agreement. Oh, Steel Tech success. How dare you? How dare you? That lowers our tech as well, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. And it used to be these take 4 turns, now they take 3. That's really impactful against the Tomb Kings. We might actually have to get an assassin. Unhappy Populace -5. That ain't great. But we might actually have to get assassin hero to prevent any more of this nonsense. I really don't like spamming agents, but what can you do? Anyway, Khatep, since this guy decided to be weird, you're gonna land in Lothern first, so that we can build this up quicker. Like so, there we go, all those buffs that we can't really use because we're never in settlements to make use of them. And we can't upgrade the Lothern Harbor, but that's fine. You go for Public Order or Growth? I mean, we'll be trading you away as well. Let's go for a military structure, maybe? This guy might attempt to take it. What do we have in terms of defenders there? It should still be able to hold just fine. Plus, this guy's probably running from Ilariel. Honestly, I'd manually tell her to take Toraleer, but it's just that we need our allegiance points. Alright, Nakari's sitting at Torkarali. Alright, I guess Rakash, you're kind of stuck. Sorry, dude. You just have to sit there until Nakari moves or until Khatep comes around. I hate to leave an army in place, but the Tomb Kings are one of the only factions where the army doesn't cost you gold per turn by not moving, so not the biggest deals for them, at least. Go for Gilgallion. Gilly will run, and will he run far enough? No, hopefully Mazdamundi doesn't take this. He will run just far enough. Alright, fine. Khatep, you're gonna channel, even though that doesn't really do anything for us. Get us close to Gilgallion as you can. What? Oh. Almost clicked on the wrong guy. There you go. Yeah. What do you have, Mr. Senatoman? Tomb Strike. Nice. We'll keep it. We'll keep it. What's up next? King Rakash. Oh, I just did ya. Rahobi and co. Rahobi, I see Eluranian, which we might have to attack by virtue of the fact that I probably want to knock the army out. I would have loved to go to Black Forests to potentially trade it to these guys, but we can't just have these guys retaking territory either. Yeah. Alright, most likely we'll do that, but we'll give it a second. I would like you two to move towards Nagarond. It'll be another siege, and oh, Nagarond is a special territory, which is a bit annoying. The reason it's annoying is because they won't fight a... it'll be a broken battle. I tested this in a previous episode of Imric, although we were on the defensive there. I'm just wondering whether we should try to send one of these armies to deal with them, but it's a fairly solid garrison with additional stuff and... summoning demonettes for some reason, once again. Weird, but okay. I mean, you could try to besiege them. Alright, you know what? You try to besiege them. Malekith won't come back anyway. Then we can go for battering ram and then start building these. Close to feed, eh? Do you have mana to... You don't have mana to cast, do you? No. Maybe I should have done that with Roperfos, but this guy doesn't have enough movement to avoid the attrition here. Ow! Do we not suffer attrition here? No, we do. We do. It's because... Actually, we don't. I lied. Wait, then out of these guys, it should probably be this guy besieging, because if Malekith does come back, I don't know how many turns he's been gone for. It should be this guy that fights him. Alright, fine. You're gonna back off. Oh, but you probably can build these way faster. Yeah, but Malekith defeat trait. A moment. Wait. I'll figure this out, guys. I got this. You have no way to really deal with the enemy artillery. You have the Ushabti with great bow. I mean, I guess you could charge them with sepulchral stalkers. Alright, fine. Break the siege. You should not suffer... I lied. You are suffering attrition, but you have to just move slightly. There you go. And then you can go here instead. It'll take all of our movement anyway, so if we have to move next turn, we can move next turn. And then you can build this stuff. For a turn. Frankly, I know we'll win, and I know that this is a broken battle, so I'll think about it. We might either move one of these armies out, the problem is healing them up when we're in yellow and red territories.
No.
I might auto-resolve that in favor of going for a better battle that isn't bugged, but anyway. King Rakash. No, every time. Oh, damn me. Damn me and my ineffective memory. Meshup, you are supposed to stay near these guys, but for now, just keep an eye on what's going on out here. I would like to see where Valke is and keep an eye on her. These guys are still disliking us. Well, hopefully they don't declare war on us, because we might vassalize them. These guys are still here, but that's hardly surprising. Alright, building next. Ashen Coast, we'll start with you. Tyrant Peak, go up to next tier. Then we'll leave this place for Pyramidion, and then this place for Pyramidion as well, as we'll start building those up next turn, now that we're moving up to tier 4. Altar of Ultimate Darkness, you're fine. We can build you up for cheap anyway because of materials at sea, and we will temporarily at least build obelisks here. At least until the public order gets high enough so that we can replace them with Pyramidions. Plane of Dogs, you're going up to next tier. Tomb City. And we will... We could also start building the treasure tombs everywhere, but they're probably better for minor settlements. I'm inclined to say Mortuary Sanctum / Pyramidion again. The main reason I actually want these right now isn't even just because of the Ancient Legions, which is great as well, but because this offers us additional research rate per turn. Granted at the cost of canopic jars, but the Nehekaran Citadels, by virtue of giving us 4 per building, will counteract that anyway, so it'll be fine. I think. /hope. I dream and pray. Anyway, let's switch it to growth maybe for at least a few turns. It doesn't reduce the construction time, and I'd rather you grow faster. Frankly, is the same thing true of any of these things? You're fine as you are, keep growing. You, Tyrant Peak. Maybe you should be switched to growth as well. At least for now. Go for it. Worship of Tra. Red Desert, what about you? Oh, yes, the good stuff. First of all, Royal Burial Chamber. Canopic jars and... Sacred Cartouche unlocking, Tomb Guard capacity, and a bunch of stuff. Then we build the Nehekaran Citadel, which gives us Bone Giant capacity +1, but more importantly allows us to recruit them. You need to be upgraded to the next tier, or level. You need to be upgraded to next tier, which gives us access to Necropolis Knights. And here we will start building the Burial Pits next turn, or in 2 turns once this is ready. Beautiful. And I guess we'll start building a Pyramidion here as well. Pyramidions for everyone. Then we can switch you back to Worship of Tra, as that will enable us to build or upgrade those Pyramidions faster. Lovely. Alright, anything else? Our buildings, at least, are gonna start getting interesting shortly. Hagrief, you are fine as you are. Galleon's Graveyard, I really... I really wish you weren't there. I look at you every time, it's confusing. And I believe the rest of that is good to go. Alright, I guess we're fighting now. The Shrine of Ladriel, another battle with the... there he is. Wait. It's a solid army. If we take sufficient damage here, there's a decent likelihood he'll attack us. Lots of Shadow Warriors, and these are the Super Shadow Warriors. On the other hand, we should, in theory, be able to destroy this army without taking too much damage. Might be willing to risk it. Let's just hope he doesn't have another army out here. And yeah, you were still at war with these guys. Just decided, oh yeah, we... Idiot. Die. Oh, game. Alright, Pyrrhic Victory, we'll see about that. The Eagles are going to be an issue. That's going to be something for you, Chosen of the Gods, as we don't really have too much else that will be easily able to destroy them. Attack. The cultigaries indeed. Here we go, Rahobi, round 2 for you this episode, sir. He's been putting in a lot of work this episode, but that's great. He's getting levels out of it and getting some great fights, especially as his army will change forms within the next few turns as we retrofit it, so we may as well enjoy it in its current form before everybody themes out to different things. His is going to be completely different since we're going from sepulchral stalkers to Nehekara warriors. Anyway, once again, we're going to start the battle off with the Ushabti with Great Bow, the Chosen of the Gods, firing at the enemy. Not snowblind this time and can see everything just fine, even though it is a rather dark map. Unlike the previous battle, we are not going to start in attacking the enemy White Lions, but instead attack the archers behind them. And then by the looks of it, we're actually hitting both units, so that's just fine. Or I think actually this time around, I might have actually targeted the White Lions because I saw that some of the shots were hitting the High Elven archers behind them anyway. And I just lied to all of you. But anyway, there we go. It's working just fine. It's working just fine. Just split the damage between the two, and they've both taken about 25%. A couple more shots, and it looks like the enemy is at least sufficiently annoyed to mill around. Fortunately for us, them milling around can be a pretty good thing, as A, they can blob up a little bit more, we can get a nice skull storm into them, and if they start moving parallel to our line of fire, we can sort of dish out a lot more damage to them. It does also mean, however, that they will begin to fire back. We're switch targets those Lothern Sea Guard, as they have a nice sort of tight formation and are thus very susceptible to damage. That said, the main battle has not yet started, and the enemy is, by the looks of it, attempting to reposition around that Skullstorm. Skullstorm will end, and the enemy range units will attempt to fire upon our Ushabti with a Great Bow while we start hitting back, or at least attempting to hit back with the Ushabti. Ow! Wait, are we in the We're not in the Petrified Forest, are we? Petrified Forest is a feature of Nagaroth. I don't remember how distant we are. Wait, what settlement are we in? Whatever. Anyway, keep on firing and dishing out damage as best you can. Out here, a single unit of High Elven archers was hanging around, isolated by itself, so we hit it with the Nehekara horsemen and the chariots before backing off, lest we take too much arrow fire from the rest of the archers. In addition to that, we are repositioning as well. We've got 2 of our units of sepulchral stalkers behind the enemy army, who are once again going to charge the enemy in the back. Another unit of sepulchral stalkers, the buried sentinels, specifically hanging around these guys in case they get charged or they need help. And then the last third one is around here somewhere. There it is. And this one's essentially shadowing the eagles, because we don't know where the eagles will go, but we do know that the sepulchral stalkers are anti-large and should be able to deal with them, I hope. I don't want to underestimate the eagles, though. After Arathon just obliterating like half the map with, well, maybe not half, like a quarter of the map with basically eagles. It's a unit to be feared, at least with sufficient buffs. Anyway, another Skullstorm comes down, the biggest blob of enemies we could find, while we continue doing small charges into relatively isolated units. Eagles are still flying around and have returned to the enemy blob over there, getting a little bit of a shootout over on this side as the Screaming Skull Catapult and the Ushabti with Great Bow both fire upon the enemy archers. There we go, and now they're firing parallel or perpendicular to their formation, whatever, you know. They're positioned perpendicular, but they're firing parallel to their formation. Anyway, looks like another unit will be switching too, but more enemies have arrived, and the eagles have finally touched down. Fortunately, the buried sentinels and the other sepulchral stalkers are moving in to try to trap the eagles and some Illyrian reavers as well. Alright, gotta be careful with that, Dan. Oh, okay, sorry guys, 1 second. I just gotta move my cat, but I can leave this to watch these guys. Alright, sorry about that. Lots of action for the Scorched Stalkers at the very least, who have managed to send the Eagles flying and have pretty much obliterated that unit of Illyrian Reaver Archers as well. Another unit of Scorched Stalkers is working in the back line to chase down the Lothran Sea Guard. A third, I think, Skullstorm comes down, though this one only catches a few of the enemy units. It should still be fine. The enemy army has finally drawn close to our main host and still has plenty of melee units remaining, especially as we, by and large, have been trying to concentrate the enemy range units, so the melee are in pretty decent shape. On the bright side, however, we do still have plenty of units running around, flying around, or riding around, and slithering around in the back lines. And as soon as any individual unit has routed, we can simply shift to a rear charging. Another mounted power has shifted to about, let's say 85, maybe 85% in our favor. And the enemy is in a pretty bad way, as most of their range units have been knocked out, or at the very least are no longer viable by virtue of being engaged, and the enemy units are now engaged. Yet another Skullstorm on the way, right in the middle of the enemy blob. This one was necessary to allow these skeleton chariots to escape, as they lost about half of their HP and 2 of their units. White lines and spears rear charged by a massive pile of Sepulchral Stalkers. Saw these guys get out. I'm so glad I built all these Sepulchral Stalkers. Once again, they're one of my favorite units in the Tomb King's roster. And Necropolis Knights as well. Basically, everything Necro Serpent is just fantastic. And it's why Khalidah's it's one of the reasons why Khalidah's one of my favorite lords. We'll get her campaign at some point as well. Hopefully by then, they'll add Neferata, and that'll change the dynamic of Khalidah's campaign as well. Better get a massive buff if we finally bring her Neferata's head. It's like you win the game. Anyway, it looks like with that the enemy army is done. They will shatter and the battle will be ours. Fantastic work from the Spokal Stalkers and all of our horses and chariots, and the patience from the Tomb Guard and melee line, waiting while we did the damage to all the enemies. And then... That looks like he's enjoying himself. Anyway. Alright, very nice once again. Primary damage to the skeleton spears, which is just the way we would want to have it anyway. A little bit of damage to everybody else, but not so much that I think we wouldn't be able to take on Alethanar, though once again, those Shadow Warriors are the big issue. I think one really nice/fun thing about the Tomb Kings, at least from what we've seen so far, is that our armies, basically every single one, all of our armies, are sort of just a mixture of units we kind of put together, in the sense that they are armies that were just composed of troops that we effectively had on hand, and they're doing well, but it is not a dynamic that I'm really used to compared to other factions where you get what you want, at least in the early game. And obviously it'll be different once we have capacities for everything, but it's giving us a nice sort of variety of armies and such. Anyway, you sir, I guess we want to go into Incantation of Repair. We also have Disciple of Sokth and Walatp. I mean, before I wasn't going to build a massive pile of Carrion, but a few Disciple of Walatp would be nice. I don't really care about the capacity, but income from post-battle loot and damage for Carrion versus a little bit of melee attack and a little bit of speed for Tomb Scorpions. You know what? And now I'm no longer sure. I'll have to think about it. I mean, if we get plus 10 armor-piercing weapon damage as out of 10 necrotechs on 10 necrotechs, that would be a pretty significant buff to Carrion. Granted, would we ever use that many Carrion? I'd expect we'd be using Scorpions more than Carrion. But on the other hand, they're already plenty fast, and their melee attack isn't the issue, their melee defense is the issue, so, not sure. Either way, Inscription of Repair for now, we need additional capacities, especially for the Ushabti army. And you, sir? If Canopic Jar Hoarder maxed out, I suppose in theory we might get attacked next turn. We could do the Infamous Legion. This is for when we're under siege, though funnily enough, would it count as under siege if they attack us at the Shrine of Ladriel? Feel like it should. So we could potentially get some use out of this. Not much. Mana defense +2, but it's only for you. This is for the entire army. Fine, go for the Ancient Caches. Why not? We'll see if it works for us or does anything for us. And you've got the same thing, but you can double up on it as well. Lovely. Alright, next up we've got a Lich Priest of Nehekara. You don't have Narrows. I was going to get you the other point in jars, and since you leveled up twice, we could also get you either Assyrian's Incantation of Vengeance, which might help against Aletha Nar being an irritant, or we probably should start going through Replenished Troops. We don't have enough mana to cast the other stuff, mostly because we're spamming Skullstorm whenever we have the mana for it. And we're doing it from the Lord rather than the minions, so... Yeah, anyway, Nakari's still sitting there, and who knows how long he'll be sitting there. Everybody else has moved, all the buildings have been built unless I'm mistaken. At the very least, the ones that we're not waiting for. Because we lack the growth. But that's fine. Alright, Gilgallion, we'll see what you do next turn, and next turn, unless there's diplomacy to check. Karant Kar. And funnily enough, they don't hate us either. But they are a minor faction, probably worth a little bit less.
Defend.
I wonder... Minus 14.9. They are somewhat vassalizable. I wonder if it's worth it. We vassalize this place. The only thing I don't like is their proximity to the other High Elves. The one issue would be a potential declaration of war from the non-vassalized High Elves. Right now, that's only Yvresse, but it'll change later on. Though I suppose what we're trying to do is have Ulthuan completely be divided by Yvresse and by Avalorn, which we're working on. And once they're vassals, they won't be able to declare war on these guys. Finally bring the High Elves and Dark Elves together through the power of Tomb Kings. It's an interesting plan. Khatep, you were looking to level up to rank 10. Okay, you know what we need you to do? We need you to land and do an action. Doesn't really matter which action, I just need you to level up. So try this. Try not to die while doing it. Yeah, I said... Thank you. Alright, that did not level you up. Okay. I just want him to get the Lord Keeper of Lore. Anyway, skip Kiranon Moon and turn. Oh, we're down below. Hello. Nakari will indeed attack us. Lovely. Well, it's what we've been waiting for. We do want the defeat trait. It's just that Nakari himself is going to be something of an issue for us. Hopefully we can pull it off. I think King Rakash is used to holding the line, and if he survives here, he'll get his level 15 in his unique line, since he's a special king. I'm also kind of tempted to rename all the special kings, since they have names, and I mean, if one of them manages to pull off a bunch of crazy feats and gets to join the canon, then I feel like it should be from either a randomized name or a chosen name. I'm not sure yet. Either way, we're fighting. Go. Alrighty, here we go. This is gonna be a little bit iffy, I'd wager, especially considering the sheer number of enemy units that we have to hold against, and, well, the presence of Nakari as well. We do, however, have one nice thing. Since the enemy are attacking us, we have access to our defensive Skullstorm. So a free Skullstorm that we're gonna pop on the enemy immediately to start the battle off and get it on cooldown. I don't remember what the cooldown is, but I want to say 240 seconds, something along those lines. Back here, unfortunately, I did underestimate the speed of the enemy Hellstriders, who did manage to catch our skeletal chariots and our Nehekara horses. However, the eagles are coming, and they will move on in to obliterate the enemy Hellstriders and rescue those Nehekara horsemen, archers, and chariots. And the carrion are going to help out as well. All of you together, it's bird time. Somewhere, Erathond is smiling. Alright, and down come the carrion and the eagles. Among all those Hellstriders, they've no chance to escape. The mass of the eagles will prevent it, and the carrion, when they're, at least the regular carrion, being so small, have the advantage of several of them being able to attack the enemy at the same time, which the Flock of Jov can't do. That said, while the Hellstriders are pretty much out, we can't really stick around as enemy demonettes are moving in decent numbers, and that's just too risky. Out here, we deployed to the side of this little impassable object, around this little elven, I don't know what the heck to call it. Whatever the heck that thing is supposed to be. Anyway. Who knows with the elves, whether this is just for just a structure for fun or whether it is an actual functional structure. Anyway. I mean, for fun, I mean like entertainment, etc., etc. Anyway, Hellstriders, more Hellstriders, I should say, will lead the way as Nakari makes its way towards our main line. Gonna have to be careful with them as it's a very, very hard-hitting Lord. 1.2k weapon strength. And plus Nakari heals itself as well. But what can you do? Anyway, the Scorpion's gonna do a little bit of damage, but immediately take about lose about half of its HP to Nakari, so we're going to back it off and send King Rakash in to fight instead. King Rakash's stats are also not up to the sort of level of being able to fight Nakari, but we have had a little bit of help from the Scorpion. We've been dropping Spirit Leeches on him, and hopefully Rakash will be able to hold. We'll see. Alright, Nakari's gonna cast a little something. And we're gonna send the Scorpion back in to help out against him with Rakash, and I do believe a Tomb Prince is gonna come in as well. Just whack away at the big boy until we bring him down. And another Spirit Leech will send him, will make him unstable. And a couple more hits. And though the Demonettes have arrived in great numbers, they will arrive to see Nakari banished before them. And down you go, sir. Alrighty, let's see what we've got. The bounce power's at about 70% in our favor, and our flyers and fast movers are dominating the sort of back lines, having obliterated most of the enemy Hellstriders. We also have reinforcements that have arrived on the field just in time, as they are going to distract at least some of those enemy demonettes. Plus, we don't care about what happens to any of our reinforcements. In fact, we want them to die because it'll allow us to activate the Realm of Souls, the first level of which will come down right now. The arrival of the reinforcements has also brought 2 units of Ushapti, which should have no problem clearing out droves of demonettes, and on top of that allowed our chariots, which were being chased, to escape and then hopefully rear charge some of those enemies. Time to join the carrion into the fray as well, even though they have plenty of armor-piercing damage, which is sort of wasted on the demonettes, at least from a rock, paper, scissors perspective. They should be able to do decent damage, as long as the enemy are focused on somebody else. Alright, we do still have some Chaos spawn over on this side, but by and large it looks like our side is now dominating the battlefield. A Overcast Soulblight comes down, depleting the enemy melee defense and attack pretty significantly, and affecting pretty much the entire blob of enemies. Certainly needed as Rakash is down to about half his HP, and that's after activating his healing potion, which he needed to survive his relative duel with Nakari. Scorpion, please attack, don't be stuck. Come on. Are you really stuck on that one skeletal archer? Yeah, I think it's stuck on that one little tiny skeletal archer. Should have just been able to burrow through it, jump over it, roll around, whatever, man. Alright, one more Skullstorm from the army-bound ability will herald the arrival of the Ushabti who come out of the storm and lay into enemy Demonette and Marauder alike. With that, I believe the enemy army will shatter, the Demonettes will begin their banishment and start melting away, and only the units of Chaos Spawn will remain. Fortunately, the Eagles are here, and in the same way that they bailed out our riders and our chariots, they will obliterate the spawn, and with that, the battle will be ours. Beautiful. Certainly did take some damage, but that went pretty well, I think. Very nice, very nice. Poor Scorpion, man. Yeah, probably shouldn't have thrown it at Nikari right away. I just thought we'd delay it a little bit, but it's not the greatest matchup. Let's be real here, especially as Nikari has the mass to prevent the Scorpion from doing its burrow and sort of annoying the enemy in that manner. Anyway, we'll chase down whatever we can, and in fact, we have chased down whatever we can, and hopefully most of Nikari's army that isn't melted, i.e. non-demonic, has been destroyed. Alrighty, that worked out pretty darn nicely. Not so much for Nikari, though. He did do nearly 16k damage, good for him, but Rakash was able to bring him down with a little bit of help. Plenty of damage on the flock of Juff, as they once again have a tendency to drop those bombs in big old blobs, and it's a pretty effective tactic. Solid work out of the skeleton archers and skeleton chariots rather, and horse archers, and generally speaking, we did better than it might have otherwise gone. One issue with the massive pile of demonettes is that all melt away once the battle is done, so sorry to Nikari for it. Now, jars are money. We've gone below the 40k that we had earlier and are now down to 29, and we are building more buildings nowadays, even with the materials at sea. And we're not getting any benefit out of the income from all buildings because we're not collecting any income right now. And 3.4k is solid. On the other hand, more jars. And we still need 500 more jars, and we'll waste, what was it, 14k or something silly? Yeah, we need the money. It'll take a lot of money to waken New Legion as well, not just jars, so money it is. Plus it'll give us Endless March. For a couple turns at least. Now, we are still in the stance, Entomb Beneath the Sand stance, so we should have healed fairly nicely. You really want peace, but not unless you want to be our vassal, and by the looks of it you do not, sir. And therefore, he'll attack us. Oh, thank you, game. I love you so. I wasn't expecting this. I'm so happy. Anyway. Anyway, I guess we're gonna fight this. So this episode has gone really over long, but it'll probably... Okay, so the issue with making a really long episode, my internet is terrible. If I ever get to do this full time, the first thing I'll want to do is, well, after paying rent, is get better internet, because uploads take absolute ages, so the longer an episode goes, the longer it takes to upload. So sorry if this episode is a little late, but hopefully it'll be worth it, because another big old battle. Go. Alrighty, here we go. I was really not expecting the enemy to actually attack us and sally out, and I'm so pleasantly surprised by this. And it'll be a nice chance to see the Golden Host of Machrok in action once again. And those superpowered Nehekar warriors with their 80 armor and their shields should be just as strong as Tomb Guard. Out here, it looks like the enemy has summoned their first set of demonettes within our forces, and oh, I'm getting a few frame drops here, guys, sorry. Yeah, it might be that my PC might not be able to handle this battle very well, so do expect some frame drops, at least in this one. There's gonna be a lot of units on the field. The enemy army already has a lot, and we've got another full stack coming in, and especially primarily made of infantry, not single entities. And the green skulls alone, each one is 200 units, and just like playing the Skaven, it's just a lot of stuff on the field. Anyway, as you can see, we've got a little bit of damage on the Reaper Bolt Throwers, or 2 of the Reaper Bolt Throwers, as we have used our Tomb Swarm and our bound defensive, whatchamacallit, Skull Storm, or Sandstorm, I think it's just Sandstorm, on the enemy there. We're also sneaking in from the back here. We've got our units of Wood Elven Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards, who are going to hopefully knock out those Reaper Bolt Throwers with a little bit of help from the Sepulchral Stalkers, wherever they are. There they are. While the rest of the enemy army will hopefully be distracted by our piles of units. Here they come, and prepare for my PC to get very upset at this. Alrighty, and we are waiting still because we don't know where the enemy will summon their second set of demonettes, and we don't want them ripping apart any of the Krokagar Legion. Besides, this will give additional time for the Deepwood Scouts to join the fray as well. And, oh, the enemy will use a Lure of the Pale Queen on a blob of our units, just as our Scorpions, 3 Scorpions, make their way onto the field. The enemy will use the Lure of the Pale Queen to stop them all in their tracks. Good but annoying use from the AI of that particular ability, and there's the second summoning of the Demonettes, who are fortunately summoned into the Golden Host of Machrok and Green Skulls alike, and we can move a unit of Ushapti and a Scorpion in to help out and banish them right quick. Alrighty, down goes the Demonettes, or down go the Demonettes, or goes the Demonette unit, and the rest of the battle is about to be properly joined. Gonna have a little bit of a range exchange as the enemy Dark Shards and the enemy handbow-wielding Blackheart Corsairs fire upon our units, while all of our melee units attempt to hold the line. The units of Green Skulls are probably going to have a difficult time fighting against the Blackheart Corsairs and whatever else, but with the line of Scorpions moving in like this, they should have a much easier time of it in general. And, ooh, it looks like we've already taken up enough damage for the first of our Realm of Souls to activate, which is not sure such a good sign, but, well, hopefully we won't lose enough for it to matter all that much. Looks like all 3 of the enemy Reaper Bolt Throwers, their artillery have been knocked out. Our units of Deepwood Scouts have made their way in and are firing not quite point blank, but nearly so, at any enemy units they catch. They're also in skirmish mode, and they are fast enough to get away from any enemy units that attempt to chase them that are infantry. Alright, and man, what a pretty damn epic fight, you gotta admit. Certainly something to be said for armies where you have just massive piles of infantry and just the occasional monstrous unit. The cowards flee. Wait, who said that? That sounds like what the Dark Elves said, but we can't flee. What? Who flees? Maybe it's one of their own units. Anyway, just trying to tie up as many of the enemy range units as we can. I believe that was a Blackheart Corsair unit with a sword and handbow. A decent amount of the enemy units are melting away. However, a fairly decent amount of ours are as well, as we have hit the second level of the Realm of Souls. Looks like several of our units have been hurt back here. Ooh, our Toon Prince is down to maybe 20%, 25% of its HP, as it was facing off against the Master Blackguard of Nagaron and a Death Hag as well. Fortunately, we have a Scorpion and a pile of meat shields, bone shields, in the form of the infantry that we have here. And hopefully that'll be enough to keep our Lord and heroes alive. Alright, ooh, we've almost reached the third tier of the Realm of Souls, though by the looks of it, with the balance of power shifting to about 90% in our favor, it won't be needed. 95, 100, and there it is. Beautiful. Now, we have taken quite a bit of damage on one of these units, 36 left on this unit of Green Skulls, and they're trying to make it to the edge of the map to escape. Unfortunately, we do have to chase everything down here because, well, this is the Sally out of Nagarond, and we want to be able to destroy them. Get off the field, get off the field. 33 units, 28, 27, and 22, 19. Well, 19 out of 200 allow them to survive. I guess we're going to have to find out. Enemy Lord is dead. Most of the enemy units will get chased down, but we can do the rest of that off screen. Glorious, glorious fight. Alrighty, there we go, a last hurrah out of Nagarond without Malekith. Unfortunately, one of the Green Skull units was destroyed. Huh, well that's really unfortunate. They had 19 units left when we withdrew them, and apparently 19 is not enough for the unit to survive, which is a real shame, because it's going to take a while to get these guys back in here. But what can you do? I suppose we could put another hero in here and forgo it until we have the chance to recruit just to get additional ranks. Anyway, most of the enemy army is destroyed. We've got basically no money as a reward, and a little bit of healing, but we can probably forgo it for additional organ harvesting. Solid work out of the Deepwood Scouts. 110 kills brings these guys to become the winners. And don't just name the Tomb King units. See if we can't get some names for the sort of Eagles, and Deepwood Scouts, probably soon some Treekin, and this is the Elven sort of Tomb King flavored somehow names. Anyway, harvest organs. Ever closer to that next army, and I'm just gonna really hope my PC doesn't crash, because that battle made it really, really upset. It was making noises the entire time, dropping frames, way too many units on the field at once. Alright, Citadel of Dusk will randomly declare war on us for no reason. Rude, but okay. Call your allies to help, I guess. We'll kill you too. Shouldn't be a problem. Alright, especially for King Rakash, who has reached a rank 15. Tyrion owes me speed plus 20%. Well, Tyrion's dead. So, I guess he doesn't really owe me. Oh! They've retaken Alicia from these guys. Well, that's hilarious. Well, we'll take it right back shortly. Speed plus 20%, which is what we wanted from this army. Cultist of Assyrian all over the place. Enemy killed, and dynasty research, so more power-ups for our Nehekara warriors. And Gera rank 15, so Plunderer of the East, speed plus 5%, all armies. Faction-wide and more canopic jars. Then we got enemy speed and heroic killing below, post-battle loot, weapon strength plus 20% for Lord's army, very nice. Income from all buildings faction-wide, leadership minus 5. I mean, this would be great, but we don't need it right now since we're not collecting income. So instead, we'll get the Poison of Sokth, the heroic killing blow and enemy speed reduction, and sacrifices to Tra, giving us an area melee defense minus 10 for enemy heroes and lords, but only in... I mean, this doesn't even need to be area since the range is quite short. But anyway, a lovely stuff for you, sir. Anyway, with that, we're obviously out of time, and I'm going to call it here, especially with my PC on the verge of crashing. So next time, well, there's more donut work to do, but we're probably reaching the end of it soon. Gilgallion will get caught by Khatep, though we'll probably have to forego Shrine of Loek for it, but what can you do? Hopefully we can get it back as soon as we declare war on Mazda Mundi. Oh, he's not actually at war with them. Alright, well then we should have Shrine of Loek for ourselves. Anyway, lots of more stuff to do, so stay tuned for more Khatep. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the Threshold. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching. Cowardly Thanar didn't attack us.